Sam Judge, always trying to save the day. But you see, you've got it all wrong.
Sun and Bone is one of those kind of games that's going to have the typical response from gaming media. They will label the game mostly lackluster, even though the fact remains that the game is very solid. Visually, it looks quite nice, especially if you lock the frame rate to 60, turn performance mode on, and turn off film grain and motion blur. You have a very serviceable looking game. That might be selling it short a little bit. But again, we don't also need to oversell it. The thing with these type of games is, if you look at the trailer, if you look at the visuals and go, oh, you're a cowboy, traveling through time, battling mutated dinosaurs and alien type shit, sounds like fun. Sounds like the type of game that you grab a couple of beers, maybe a pizza, and just go to town with. Yet that kind of response isn't what you hear in gaming media. And yet that kind of response is actually a very mentally healthy one. And it's what makes you question the very unhealthy mental attitudes that are promoted through gaming media. But most of all, through the gaming press. See, you have games like this that will have a subjective reaction to them. There are people out there who absolutely need everything to be polished to what they believe to be perfection. But then there are also people out there who respect the idea that Salvador Dali presented, that perfection is something you should never fear because you can never reach it. You can have the most perfectly perfect thing in the entire universe and somebody isn't going to be happy with it. But should we be sitting here judging something and trying to figure out how academically meritable a dinosaur shooting video game is? Or should we be sitting down going, hey, those who don't mind games that are a bit rough around the edges, those who will particularly appreciate the imaginative angle that is presented in this game that you don't get in a lot of other video games right now. I mean, it's that kind of gamey game. It's that kind of comic book imaginative idea that would have came out of the 80s or 90s. And the kind of game that we would all dream about. I mean, it's very much a spiritual successor to Turok. And those are all wonderful things because there are plenty of people out there who enjoy this type of experience. And especially when the game is only $30 and is made by an independent company consisting mostly of 4 brothers from the information that you can find on Team Kill Media. But again, that's where we should be asking some more interesting questions, because you have a game like this that is what is most important about a game: fun. That's something that seems to be, if not lacking these days, it's definitely something that we've left to the wayside or been told to leave by the wayside. You could have something like this that is rough around the edges but just provides an absolutely fun experience. And yet that isn't something of merit. Something that you can sit down again with a few beers and just laugh, smile, and enjoy yourself. And of course, those who are going to nitpick, those who have severe cases of OCD, will find it difficult to enjoy games like this. But that really isn't a sign that the game is bad. It's just a sign that the game is made for a certain audience. And yet that's what reviews should be for. They should be there to explain to us what kind of game we're playing, what type of audience might appreciate it. Instead of sitting here trying to go, the game is good or the game is bad, we should be sitting down discussing what the game is and trying to figure out who the game might best be for. Because I guarantee you that you can play something, watch something, or find something that you don't enjoy, that somebody out there will. So it's just a far healthier thing to sit down and go, okay, even if I didn't enjoy this, what kind of experience is this, and who might enjoy it? Is that not what gaming criticism, movie criticism should ultimately be? Shouldn't it be almost like a salesman who's there to go, hey, I'm not really here to hype this product. I'm not really here to disregard this product. I'm here to help you decide if this product is right for you. That would be a very useful apparatus of reviews. But that isn't how reviews are utilized. Reviews are utilized to be nothing but essentially judgment. To go game good, game bad, and if you disagree with us, well then you're going against the status quo. Hang on, time out. We can get second opinions on all sorts of things, but the one thing that we all understand is totally subjective when it comes to entertainment. There's only like truly one general consensus of opinion. There aren't just divisive discussions about the fact that, yeah, there are audiences out there who are going to absolutely adore this game, no matter how flawed it is, just because of what it is and what it does. And that's exactly the kind of art that most of us who really enjoy art appreciate. You could have something that everyone appreciates and loves because it's so well done, or you could have something that just speaks to you. It doesn't have to appeal to everyone, but it really just hits that sweet spot for you. Some people don't like greasy fast food, but we all know that there are those of us who, when we need that pick-me-up, we need something that just hits, slaps, makes us appreciate and grateful to be alive. Sometimes you need that greasy cheeseburger. Know what I'm saying? This is that greasy cheeseburger of a video game. And yet, critics don't act like that's valuable. And it totally is. It's actually a far healthier thing, and I think it's the true hallmark of an actual gamer. Let's set aside skill for a second here. Let's actually look at what should make a real gamer. A gamer should be someone who can sit down and go, this is the type of game that appeals to me, and enjoy the shit out of it. I think the skill to enjoy something, to sit there and have fun, to appreciate something, that makes you more of an honest, hardcore, real, true gamer than anything else. Because it's the hardest thing to do. You can sit there, nitpick, and bitch about something all day, but can you turn all that negative bullshit off and just enjoy something? Why isn't this being promoted? Oh wait, because everything in society that's being promoted, discussed, or utilized is simply to hold us back. I mean, we understand that the government and everything is crooked and corrupt, but we just sit here accepting it. We just sit here trying to keep on keeping on. And so that's why if you watch a bunch of my other videos, you realize that I talk about not only government conspiracies and secrets, but I truly believe that I am the chosen one, because I'm sitting here just going, what the fuck? How can we have a society that cannot tell you now if milk builds strong bones, if eggs are good or bad for you? Like, we do not have definitive scientific answers, but people are going to wag their dick around and act like there's a definitive answer to Sun and Bone is a good or a bad game. No. Just like, is Hellboy with David Harbour from 2019 a good movie or a bad movie? The answer is neither. Is the question the problem? Is it good or bad? Yeah, that's the problem. The question, right then and there, is the problem. It's not, is it good or bad? It's, will I enjoy this? Is this something for me? Does it resonate with me? Does it speak to me? But we don't have these kind of conversations out loud in pop culture, in the mainstream consciousness. This is not what the influencers, the media, the press, this isn't what people are talking about on social media. People are either trying to rip something apart like, oh, we don't like Star Wars The Acolyte, it needs to be canceled, or, oh, we want to save Star Wars The Acolyte. It's like, can we not understand that right now the entire world is exhibiting extreme signs of mental illness. And you can try to say that I'm crazy from my previous videos, and from the fact that I sit here saying, yes, I am the chosen one, yes, I believe that God and all of this mystical stuff picked me to save everyone from madness and evil and destruction. Hey, listen, I've been trying to set the record straight with just video game reviews for almost my entire life. Like, it's what started me out on the internet. And it's because eventually you sit down and you play stuff, or you watch something like the new Borderlands that everybody shit on, and it's like, wait a second, that movie is so fucking fun. And Borderlands now is like a really nostalgic thing for me. I've put so many hours into that game during really hard times in my life, and it was also a game that I did not appreciate when it first came out. I just couldn't get into it. And then I returned and revisited it on the new next-gen systems like a decade more after the first Borderlands came out, and just really fell in love with it and restarted it over and over again until I found the character that I loved the most. And just, I mean, before I even finished the game, I restarted it from the very beginning at least 10 or more times, to the point that I put 30 hours into a game I haven't even finished, because it's that much fun just playing it over and over again. And the movie is exactly like that. It's a fun, bombastic Guardians of the Galaxy type of thrill ride. And yet people acted like it was such shit that it came out in like the beginning of August and was released to digital before September 1st. Fucking nuts. This should have been a huge, big video game adaptation. People should have been having so much fun going to this movie, getting drunk, smoking weed, just having a good old time with that kind of experience. But yet, that's just not what they want us to do with our life. They don't want us to just sit down and go, yeah, there might not be some mind-blowing message in the film, or it might not be like the greatest movie of all time, but who really gives a shit if anything is the greatest thing of all time, if at the end of the day you went, you sat down, and you had fun. You felt good. In a world where we're all struggling and suffering, I think that that in of itself has more merit than so many things we could be doing. We could be sitting down, nitpicking and writing how we didn't like this, or how this wasn't perfect, and how it could have been better. But at the end of the day, I mean, unless that really gets you off and makes your dick hard, I do not see utilizing your time that way. I have way more fun just playing the game that people bitch about than bitching about the game. And again, this is why I'm pointing out that society's completely mentally ill, and it's not our fault. We aren't the problem. It's the people in charge of society who are shepherding it, who have hamstrung us. It's fucking bullshit. School shouldn't just, prepare you to do work. It should prepare you to live a life. It should help you be able to enjoy and appreciate life when things are difficult. Yeah, it's really easy to pop in an awesome, perfectly polished, incredible gaming experience and have fun. Or at least it should be, but we all know, even with those kind of experiences, we can sit there and be little negative Nancys who just ruin fun even for ourselves, and instead of going, yeah, fuck, ooh, bam, bam, woo! We're sitting there going, oh, they should have done this, oh, they should have done this. And that ain't our fault, yo. That is not our fault. We are little whiny bitches because we don't know any better. Monkey see, monkey do. And everything that we see is just fucking horrible. It's a horrible role modelship out there, and they act like Hollywood is like the den of all evil. But if you want to watch shit, entertainment has the best examples of what humanity is 9 times out of 10. Yes, there is that shit that's out there that we all know does not represent what humanity should be the fuck about. And we all know what is a good representation of humanity and what's a bad representation. We fucking know that shit. We sit down, we know it. It's very easy. It's not complicated at all. So at the end of the day, when you have games like Sun and Bone, films like Borderlands, and you can sit down, and you know that the general consensus, just like when you're in school or anything else, somebody's trying to tell you, man, that thing or what you're doing, it's just not cool, man. You're lame for liking that. It's like, no, fuck you. You're lame for not being able to enjoy life. And that's the thing. Most people just can't enjoy life, and when they see people with the ability to enjoy life, they want to take that away from you, because it is a fucking superheroic ability, alright? If you can sit down and enjoy life, that's something that a lot of people can't do, and that's a superhero ability. Not everybody can sing, not everybody can cook. When you do something that not everybody can do, You are on the path to being a superhuman. And this is the stuff that society should be telling us to build up our confidence, to make us stronger, because then we would function and work better and create a more thriving and prosperous society. But evidently the people in charge don't want that. They want a society that's banal enough that it's not a total apocalypse to where we all rise as one and slay the motherfuckers oppressing us. But they want it to where it just drains you. Mentally, physically, emotionally, everything. Spiritually. That it just fucking takes and takes and takes from you. But at the same time that it's so dull and boring and things look so just plain. And, oh, we're stuck in this unmagical universe. Let me tell you something. If you feel like you can't breathe, if you feel like you're dying, like you don't have energy, and then all of a sudden you're doing things just based on your own beliefs that give you an inner strength and a power that you did not have before. And at the same time, you know, if you're defying medical science and doctors who told you that you should be dead and you're like, haha, fuckers, I'm Superman because, like, I'm way stronger feeling, way better feeling than ever before. And yeah, there are those doctors and there are those people out there going to go, oh yeah, but you know, if we ran these tests, we're going to prove that you're not so healthy and then you're going to be dead soon. Well, yeah, if I believe your hocus pocus magical bullshit that you want to cast those curses on me, that might happen. But I tell you, take that black magic, shove it up your fucking ass, bitch. Alright? Because if you feel good, then you know that you feel good. The only thing that keeps you from feeling good is that, oh, but people, they just drop dead for no fucking reason. Yeah, so you want to waste time on negativity? You want to live in a world that goes, yeah, it's dog eat dog. Hang on. We invented money. We invented everything that is society, that is life that surrounds us. Like, we probably had cosmic and divine help with it, but at the end of the day, it's all creation of imagination. That's fucking insane. Because that means that you can imagine anything the fuck you want, and you just have to have a group of people who are reinforcing, hey, these are the things we've created and imagined. They are good for society. They are good for us all. And that's what we're going to promote. Sane, logical shit that you just do not see being done. You see people just bickering and arguing because they're trying to somehow make us think that they're like us. Oh, we just can't get along with each other. But that's why we have elected leaders, because you're supposed to be smarter and better than us. You're not supposed to be acting like fucking raving lunatics the same way that we would. You're supposed to go in having the understanding and the ideas that we all share and being able to figure out and work those out in a way that benefits everyone and doesn't create just a massive shit show. But that's not what's being done. That's fucking curious. The fact that we just put up with it, the fact that this all basically boils down to the old school shit of, you know, you could be sitting, chilling in your castle with your king, and then this other fucking group of people want to come and start war, or your king wants to start a war, and basically everybody could just sit down and go, hang on, time out. Why don't we slay both kings? Because they want us to go to war, and they want us to just die so they can play chess with people. Fuck that noise. Let's not do that. Let's just live and let live for ourselves. We don't need those assholes to tell us what to do if they're just going to use us to destroy each other. Like, at a certain point, how have we not woken up and smelled the coffee and realized, yes, something very strange is going on, that they are able to convince us that there's only one opinion about art. The one thing that can have infinite opinions and infinite interpretations. Oh, there can only be one right thing. We don't even have real correct answers for anything that's actually important and matters. But when it comes to art, there are people stomping their feet up and down, trying to declare what makes good or bad art. You fucking nutty butter bastards! Wow! Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video, and thank you to Team Kill Media for making Quantum Error and Sun and Bone. I've really enjoyed the work that you guys have done. But if you guys are watching still, I would also like to say the fuckery. I mean, you see the work that I'm doing here. I'm breaking the fourth wall. You're breaking the fourth wall. We're both acting like Deadpool up in this bitch. But in the meantime, we're all isolating ourselves from one another. You know I'm shadow banned by the government because I literally speak out and say things that, yeah, if I was right about everything, there's no way in fuck that these videos should be able to be seen by a mass audience because the powers that be would never allow anything like that to happen. But I do know that I've interacted with this development company on Twitter before, one of the very few people that I've been able to interact with. So, anybody who can actually see the work that I'm doing, and if you're sitting there with the utmost faith going, well, you are the chosen one, and you need to continue training and to go full blown, true Jedi mode, to quote, Lego Star Wars references. You need to collect all of the things and be the highest level thing before we all come and get you and do all this. And it's like, there's not much of a higher level that we can get to at this point. This is the time when we get the fucking show on the damn road. Because literally all of the hidden messages in games like Quantum Error, Sun and Bone kind of is not filled to the brim with hidden messages, but the general ideas are there. The general propheticness is there. So, again, let's get the show on the fucking road at this damn point, people. Because after this video, I damn sure know there is nothing left to do on my end other than to continue to work and improve and level up myself, which I'll just continue to do anyway. But most of all, it is very clear at this point that I've written many letters, and after this one, it's time just to get the fuck out of Shawshank. So, I mean, I've already basically done that because I've never felt more peaceful, more free, more powerful, and that's all great for me and terrible for evil because they've definitely been trying to kill me and they've failed miserably at it thus far. So I am definitely a powerful, badass cowboy, dinosaur, demon-slaying motherfucker, and the fact that that's actually real and that this spiritual prayer and the power of will and all that is, it's mind-blowing that it's all real, and it's a lot of fun once you actually can wrap your head around it in the sense that you can get all the bullshit thoughts out of your head and just go, yeah, how would I react to all of this news and information when I was a kid, when I was like at that peak of life, when things were chill and cool and hopeful? Well, that's just what you gotta do, is react to things the way that you would have as a kid and go, yeah, this game is awesome. Yeah, I'm battling the forces of evil and supernatural powers, and that might have been scary to a kid, but I've survived and thrived and proven that I'm way more powerful than evil, and that in of itself is fucking like, wow, me? I mean, it should have been somebody else, but believe it or not, I'm walking on air. Thanks so much for watching this very bizarre review of Sun and Bone, and if you stuck around for the entire video at this point, you might as well check out the other content here and go down this very mystical rabbit hole that I have created for anyone willing to take the journey alongside this nerdy, geeky, heroic wannabe who simply wishes to be a shield to protect people from the pain and misery that I know I didn't deserve to feel, and that I also now know I have bested, like to best emotional and physical pain through the power of will, Doctor Strange sorcery style, where you're like channeling energy and making yourself better. That's incredible, and that's something that I would love to give to anybody who needs it, because they act like the idea of the Holy Grail is just, something to give hope to the hopeless. But it isn't, because it's not a physical thing. And that's the thing that evil will never understand, is that once you have understood what it's like to feel weak and to feel like you can't even just appreciate and enjoy your life, that you can't even breathe easily, and then all of a sudden you're able to do all of those things and more, maybe those are small miracles, but those are miracles in of itself. And it proves, hey, if I listen to those things and they've got me here, what happens if I keep going down this path? What happens if I just keep trusting the things that have bettered my life? Is that not what we should be doing? I mean, are we sitting here trying to figure out aerodynamics, or are we sitting here trying to figure out our emotions in life? You can act like there's only one right mathematical answer on how to make a plane fly, but what happens when we discover all kinds of new technologies and shit? the mathematics for planes don't work the same for helicopters, so you have to have an open and free mind if you want to create any kind of invention, if you want to push anything forward, if you want to take any kind of gigantic leap. You can't sit there going, oh, this isn't possible or that isn't possible. You have to sit there realizing, yeah, everybody said that X, Y, and Z was not possible. Then somebody made X, Y, and Z possible, and the big lesson we should have taken away from that is, hey, guess what? Things are only impossible until they are not. Things are only impossible until we sit there and go, all right, I don't believe this is impossible. I believe there is an answer to everything, that we can solve and create anything that we dream, because we've totally proven that at this point. And there's enough government secrets and enough, plausible deniability that we don't actually truly know the ins and outs of what's going on with our reality and our universe, because we can't get simple questions answered like, what's the technological advanced shit that's flying around in the sky, government? Oh, we can't say anything because security, blah, 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 blah. Even though this stuff trumps national security because, number one, if they were a threat, we would know it by now. Number two, it trumps national security because whatever this shit is changes everything we know about reality, and that's, just like with the placebo effect, just like realizing that unhealthy mental attitudes are being promoted by gaming media in a way that just does not make sense. Oh, a definitive answer. I mean, look, why is everybody acting like there's some academic who has to go, oh no, a game has to be polished and this, it can't just be an experience that you get drunk and eat pizza and have a fucked up fun frat boy Friday night with? I don't get that, because we all know that we need that. And it's also what helps us appreciate the really, really good shit. If you can't appreciate something that's rough around the edges, how are you going to appreciate the truly good shit? If you're sitting there going, hey, this is an idea that I should like and appreciate because I like cowboys, I like dinosaurs, I like time travel, I like imagination, I like science fiction, I like fantasy. This is cool shit. Shouldn't you be able to sit down and appreciate it then? Especially if it's not broken. Like, if it was broken and unplayable, yeah. If it gave you a headache, yeah. But you just have to go, well, the graphics aren't perfect. It's a little rough. The frame rate's a little rough. It doesn't look as immaculate as some other games. But it's got plenty of heart and plenty of joy to offer anyone who can appreciate what the game has to offer. And that's a healthy way to look at life. That's a healthy lesson that we could all take away from anything we encounter. But that's not what's being taught to us. We're being taught things that literally just break us down emotionally and make us do things that are stupid, and they're stupid because they're not fun. They're stupid because they don't do us any good. But that's when you ask yourself, why would people in power, if they're greedy, want us stupid? You would want a bunch of smart people so that you could increase your greed, so that you could make your country the best country on the planet, because that's the only way you could really kind of trade resources and have any kind of power over anyone else. If all of the countries basically make everyone suffer in one way or another, you eventually realize there is no safe haven. No matter where you go, shit's fucked. And it's because those in power have made it that way. And that makes no sense at all unless they're people who literally, as I pointed out, get off on people's suffering. And it's everywhere. It's the fact that just fun, gamey games aren't being made. Stuff that just brightens our day and helps us deal with the bullshit. There were less mass shootings in the early 2000s and the mid 2000s, all because of aggressive music and aggressive video games that gave people an outlet for those negative feelings, that allowed them to vent and to purge without hurting themselves or anyone else. But we're not sitting down talking about those things because they don't want us to realize that love and all of these things, being passionate about stuff that made our lives fun as a kid, that's all life should be about, because when you channel that energy, things just get better and better around you. Inevitably, no matter what. You can sit there trying to take down the Goliath. You might not be able to do that right away, but eventually, after a while, you're going to realize, yeah, I can't best that thing yet, but I'm besting everything else around me. And more than that, I'm not suffering anymore. Somebody can ask me how I'm doing, and instead of saying I'm fine or I'm trying, I can actually say I'm good. That's something that we should all, strive for. It's easy to physically work out, but if you can mentally work out, if you can sit there and be good and be happy, while knowing that things aren't perfect and while knowing that you're working towards it, I mean, that's the goal. Don't sit there and just go, things are good without doing anything to make them better. That's how you can actually tell yourself things are good, because you are doing everything to make it better. And those steps can be small. If you don't do any physical exercise at all, working out for 1 minute a day is something, but people don't want to act like it is. But it truly is just doing a little bit better, and then a little bit more, and then a little bit more. That's the grind. That's like leveling up in role-playing games. These are all of the lessons and all the things that we could take and rejoice and be talking about that could help us be stronger individuals that could create a more prosperous and thriving society around us. And the only reason why we don't have that reality is because those in power of reality evidently, clearly do not fucking want it. We have all of these great representations of what humanity could be throughout art and entertainment, but we are not embracing the best ideas. We are not making the best ideas a reality. We are making frivolous bullshit, waste of time ideas that at the end of the day are going to burn out and fade away and be totally useless, because it's just not a part of life that we actually need. Yes, being able to sit down and critique something is a useful skill, but when you're critiquing something just because you're trying to justify your right to rip it to shreds, you've lost the plot. It's one thing to sit down and go, hey, I really love the idea of Sun and Bone and I want to help them make it better. What could they have done to make this experience better? Honestly, they could have maybe spent 1 or 2 more months polishing the visuals. However, if they already had really tried working at that, if they had tried, wiggling this here and wiggling that there, and they just, they couldn't find that perfect ratio, and they got it as good as they possibly could, then that's what you need to do. That's what life is about, because then somebody else is going to come along and they're going to take it a next step further. There's nothing wrong with that. That's how inspiration works. You don't have to make the most perfectly perfect thing ever. If 10 people out of 100 enjoy and appreciate something, if one person appreciates something, that thing has merit and value and deserves to exist, just like the rest of us, because that's the whole thing. If we start nitpicking and trying to act like something like Sun and Bone doesn't exist, eventually that mentality will land its way on you, and somebody's going to go, well, do you deserve to live or not? And in my opinion, the only people who don't deserve to live are neglectful parents. And that's exactly what we have with the politicians and the people in charge of our society. Like, y'all had one job to help us, and instead you watch us basically kill ourselves and kill each other and just snap and go crazy when you have all the power in the world to help us, to save us, and you just go, fuck you, I had to do it myself, you're gonna do it yourself. Like, I don't know the mentality that creates somebody who can watch something they supposedly love or something they created just flounder, suffer, and not do anything about it. I don't get that. I don't get people who want to go out and just hurt something. Yeah, I want to go out and kick the shit out of evil, but I don't want to go kick the shit out of a cat or a dog because somebody pissed me off. I don't want to find some random person on the street and slap the shit out of them, although that could be funny, you just walk up to a random person and just go, they're like, what the fuck was that for? And you're just like, I don't know, it made me feel better. But that's exactly what the people in charge of society are doing. They're stomping up and down on us. They're using their magnifying glasses on us little ants because I guess they're miserable, or I don't have an answer for why they're fucked up like this, and I don't believe that they're all fucked up like that because they really enjoy it. I believe that there's a bunch of them who are totally afraid and cowardly, and so they're making horrific fucked up choices that are destroying them and those around them. But then yes, there's this small group of people, and calling them people is really, they're not people at all. But there's this small group of things out there that just want to destroy, hurt things, rip it all apart, and that's all that makes them feel good. And those are the things that we can, Spartan kick off the ledge and go, yeah, this kid, we don't need this one. This is a poor quality child. Throw it over the ledge and get rid of it. I mean, that's what Spartans did. That's what the whole 300 Spartan thing was. If they had a baby and it had any kind of deformity, they just chucked that little fucker off the cliff. And I don't think physical deformities, I don't think people who need our help are the things we should be chucking off the cliff. I think the things that are going to try to drag us all down, that are going to act like they're drowning just so they can drown the rest of us, yeah, those are the things that we need to hold under the water until the bubbles fucking stop. But when you have video games that have characters that act like that or talk like that, all of the gaming press in the world acts like that's not a good thing, that's not okay. The first Watch Dogs came out and made a character as basically kind of the Punisher. And all of a sudden people were talking like, oh, this is like too much, too extreme. I mean, this is, all you're doing is going and killing and shooting people. It's like, yeah, you're going and killing and shooting private military contractors, private security contractors, police. The people who should be enforcing the law to protect people who instead are being paid with blood money to ensure that you are oppressed, to ensure that instead of justice, we have injustice. Yeah, of course, those people in power who are trying to mind control you through the ideas that they just push and push on us and act like that those are the approved ideas, act like that is the general consensus that we all have agreed upon, that that is the way that things are should be. Go fuck yourself. When you're oppressing society and you're doing things to hurt people just for the sake of hurting them, fuck you. None of this is made. We haven't reached the moon. We haven't colonized space. All of the great advancements that we were making have slowed the fuck down the more oppressive society has become. So don't tell me that, you know, pressure makes diamonds. No, pressure makes fucking mass shooters, okay? Pressure makes insanity. Because there's absolutely no fucking reason for pressure. There's no reason to live a rat race-based life other than they have created the shit around us just so we can't breathe easy and relax. And that's exactly why games like Sun and Bone, which offer a massive power fantasy, are just not being made anymore. Or not being promoted hardly at all when they are being made, because they do not want art and entertainment to help relax, invigorate, and empower you. They want it to cripple you. And don't get me wrong, I like some of this really emotional and harsh-driven art that really makes you think. But there is such a thing called balance. You don't need to watch slashers all the time. It's actually a perfectly healthy thing to sit down and watch something like Nightmare on Elm Street and to follow it up with something like Care Bears. Because being an extremist on any side of the aisle is fucked up. Being somebody who goes, I'm not going to drink at all, you're fucked up. Being somebody who's like, I'm going to drink all the time, you're fucked up. And I'm not trying to be judgmental here, but it's like, we aren't having healthy ideas being promoted. So at some point, someone other than South Park has to tell us all that we whack a discipline. Because when you can sit down and have a couple of bowls of weed, have a beer or two, and then play a game like Sun and Bone and eat a pizza and feel totally guilt-free like Star-Lord would, and just feel good about yourself. Wow. Isn't that what we all want life to be, where we can just sit down, smile, breathe, and do something fun? Should you have to get drunk or do drugs to have something fun? No, but the world's pretty fucked up, so you gotta do what you gotta do to keep on keeping on. But we aren't just sitting here trying to have fun while the world burns around us. The whole point is to build up all that energy to have, 6 or 7 good days so that you can have 1 or 2 days of just fucking absolutely storming the beaches of fucking Normandy and just mollywomping the shit out of all the damn Nazis in front of you. I mean, because that shit feels good. It feels good to play all of those super relaxing things, or to watch stuff that you've watched over and over again that's so relaxing, and then to dive into something new, or to dive into something challenging. I mean, the balance, the variety, that's what makes life cool. Sitting there and being afraid of a challenge, no, you don't need to frenetically challenge yourself every single moment of the day. You need to do things that relax you. You need to do things that make you feel like you're on the beach at Hawaii. But then you need to do things that make you feel like, yeah, I just fucking stormed the beaches of Normandy. My fucking brothers and sisters are all dying around me, but I fucking made it, and I made it for them. And that's always the thing. There's always something in your head that you can go, oh, I'm doing this for that person. If you loved and you've lost somebody, you can be like, hey, they're not here to enjoy this fried chicken. I'm going to enjoy the shit out of this fried chicken on their behalf. They're not here to enjoy this song, so I'm going to vibe out and party out to the song like they wish they could. healthy, wonderful ideas that should be being promoted, but instead are not, when we were having completely nutcased ideas being promoted. You can't go and talk to a psychologist and actually have them go, well, yeah, because of quantum computing and all of these things, like, we don't know what's going on with the universe. No, they just want to sit you down and call you schizophrenic. They just want to sit you down and tell you to take your pills, just like all the people do on 4chan. There's no place really where you can go and have these kind of conversations. You're just like, hey, what's going on? Why is the world so fucked up in a way that makes it seem so patternized, like somebody's designed this shit? Why does it seem like we all live in the wizarding world where nobody wants to say Lord Voldemort's name, but we all know he's out there ruining life for the rest of us, and all we have to do is go, hey, if we stopped acting like little bitches and all realized we're all wizards, we all have power, and he might be really powerful on his own, but that's the only thing that makes him powerful. He makes you all back down and afraid of your own power. If you just stand taller than him, together, united, then Harry Potter doesn't have to, go off and be the chosen one and do it all by him fucking self. But the one good thing about that story and about characters like Harry Potter is, in a world where people might try to do these things, but eventually will hit something that makes them give up, there is always going to be that one person who goes, no matter how fruitless or how hopeless it seems, no matter how pointless it feels, I'm going to keep fighting this fight. You're going to stand there like Master Chief and they're asking, what are you still doing there on that ship, you dumb little shithead? Don't you realize how pointless this is? Don't you realize you just need to go find someone, fall in love, and just enjoy every moment of life the best as you can, because there's No. Fuck you. I'm on this ship because I'm finishing this goddamn fight. Nobody else wants to put in the work. I do, because I see that the work is paying off, even if it's just personally for me. Because I understand now that I'm able to enjoy things in a way that I couldn't before my life got all fucked up. Yeah, I'm at a mentally healthier place now than I have ever been in my life, and that makes you feel like Rambo. You're like, yeah, I went through war, I went through hell. They set me up to fail, and I still kicked the shit out of all of them, because at the end of the day, their victory was just taking away my happiness, it was taking away my power, it was draining me and making me feel weak and like I couldn't even breathe, like I was gonna die at any second. And then once you take that power back away from them, once you basically stand up and they're like, how are you doing that? You must be, a god. You feel like a god, because you're like, somebody was trying to cut my strings, but you couldn't cut it. And then because I kept at it and wasn't afraid of you trying to cut my strings, somehow I did something so magical in the universe that something noticed. And they're just like, hey, as long as you can appreciate that feeling better and enjoying life more than you ever have before, with all the negative shit that's there, that's something, isn't it? That's like crawling through a river of shit and coming out clean on the other side. That is totally the Shawshank fucking Redemption. That's totally sitting there and whittling your little fucking tunnel and just taking your time and doing the work. And yeah, it sucks being in prison, but then eventually when you're free and you're standing in the rain like the end of that fucking movie, that's what matters. And that's the shit that we need to hear. Like, yeah, I wanted to get somewhere in life where I could help all these people, and I destroyed evil, and I succeeded, and I did all these things. Hey, I'm basically a total loser and failure by my own standards, except I'm a loser who's having a wonderful day no matter what. Not just a loser who once had a wonderful day, who once knew the idea of love. I'm a loser and a failure who can feel happy and in love with myself while being a failure by the universe's standards, because the universe is like, hey, you wanted to do all these things and you haven't accomplished any of that. And I'm like, nope, I haven't. But I've accomplished all sorts of other shit that I didn't even think was possible. So maybe all that shit's just around the corner, and you're trying to keep me from rounding the bend because you know the pot of gold's right there, and I'm closer than anybody else has ever been fucking before. Food for thought, which is all I really do here. Try to create informative entertainment, or what Walt Disney would once have called edutainment. But I actually think more than informative, more than educating. I just want to create something that's inspiring, something that helps you just jive, vibe, relax, you know? At the end of the day, there's a lot of people out there who are trying to rip and tear everything in the world apart, and not the parts of the world that need to be ripped apart. So, there really isn't a lot of harm in trying to make things better. As a matter of fact, it's basically the only worthwhile thing you can do. Better yourself, better the world around you. But remember, with everything, it's baby steps. You keep trying to make that first leap. I mean, even Neo, alright? Even Neo did not make the jump the first time. Nobody does. But Neo's the one who doesn't give up. Neo's the one who keeps getting the shit kicked out of him by Agent Smith. And he's the one who's asked, why, Mr. Anderson, why do you persist? And there is only one logical answer, and it's the most powerful one of all. It's the one that actually makes all of evil afraid. And it makes all of the spirits around you, angel or demon, come to your side because they are inspired when they see that little David who keeps standing up to Goliath because he chooses to, because it's what matters to him. At the end of the day, that's the most powerful thing any of us can do. And that's exactly what I've just done over the course of this video. And I will see you all at the end of the show.
Sam Judge. Always trying to save the day. But you see, you've got it all wrong.
PlayStation